Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my airline on Airlinesim, Global Freightways. And again, it's been far too long since my last update, and it was just getting to the point where, because I hadn't uploaded for so long, so much had changed that I didn't really know how to update everybody on this video on what was going on, because so much has changed. But if I just kept doing that, I would just procrastinated really and just never actually uploaded again. And I want to continue this because I do enjoy making the videos. A lot of people use it for help for the game and everything. So what this video is going to be is basically just an update video on everything Global Freightways and the Global Freightways sister subsidiary companies. Sorry. So since the last video, the group, so I'm talking Dynasty Air Cargo, Air, all my subsidiaries, they've grown quite a lot, and we've opened up an African base in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. I've also opened a new hub in Hong Kong. It's just a small one that I've done quite recently. I set up a new European subsidiary called Global Freightways Express, which runs Airbus aircraft, so Airbus A300s, A320 cargos, and they're based out of East Midlands and Liège, and also Leipzig as well. I'll show you that in a minute. And I did have a base here in Bogotá, I think that's how you pronounce it, in the Colombian capital. But it kind of like failed miserably. So I'm in the process of rethinking my South American network. I'm thinking, well, I'll get into that in a second. So where to start? Well, let's start with the mainline airline, Global Freightways, the main airline itself. So this is the main airline here. It's currently up to nearly 500 planes, just under 475 planes there. I've ordered a lot more Boeing 767s, and I've added lots of Boeing 737-800 cargos. Now, another player who I talk to quite a lot, he runs an airline on the server. He actually offered to order these planes for me and lease them out of a slight discount. So he's still making money from me, from my leasing revenue, and I actually get to run these planes at a slightly cheaper rate than brand new from the factory, because the margins are so fine on the cargo that they're barely profitable. These, if I got them brand new from the factory, so he's doing me a solid there. I think he ordered about 60 for me, and I think there's about another 20 or so to come from him. He just puts them up on the market for me to buy off him, which has been a massive help, and a massive part of my expansion, really. So eventually the idea is this airline's going to become much bigger. I want it to kind of become about 700 planes strong, with that sort of the vision that I've got in my head. I may fold Global Freightways Express, which is my new subsidiary that I've just made, back into it eventually. And I am rethinking some of those subsidiaries as well, to maybe kind of fold them back into this mainline airline eventually, once I have all the costing under control. But Global Freightways is massively profitable. I've been hovering around 80% load factor for quite a while. It's a bit lower this week because of my failure of a South American base, but that's being rectified. And if I go to my accounting income sheet, I've been making 10% margins, 20 million profit a week, slightly lower the other week before that. But huge cargo revenues. And if I go to statistics on the server, I think it's freight per week, I'm the second biggest in terms of freight per week airline on the server. I just need to get to number one, which probably won't take too long. So that's another goal there for me. And that's the mainline airline. That's, Global Freightways. That's the one that started out at Louisville, going really well, going really strong there. So let's go and show you my Addis Ababa, I think that's how you pronounce it, base. It's got about a load factor of about, I would say, 70%. So it's probably one of the weaker hubs I've got, but it is profitable. Shove some of the older 737 400s in there, and it's doing really well. For example, if I look here, look at that. So this is it looks like so it goes to Uppington, which is in South Africa, and then it does another run over to Johannesburg. So this is what I've been sort of doing a little bit more with my airline, where there are some flights that sort of, the base at a base, then they go to destination A, and then from A they go to another airport around the region, then come back. I've done a bit in India as well. So if I show you here, this is updated. For example, I've got a few routes in India just dotted around there, Uppington here and down to Cape Town there as well. So it's in Batoga there as well. So sort of just started filling out the network a little bit more than just in my hubs. But if I show you here, look, I pretty much go to all African countries. And this is just showing Global Freightways. I do have Dynasty, my long haul airline. I'm not sure about this livery, but yeah, Dynasty with a few free flights out here that's working. So this doesn't look great, but it provides proper numbers into the hubs. I don't mind running some flights at a loss, as long as they're putting connections in there. There's also a flight from East Midlands as well into Addis Ababa, which is making profit. That sort of fluctuates a little bit. I do have some more flights, I think, going in and out of Addis Ababa as well. I've got a few 330s and everything, like, for example, that there. Obviously 200, coming from the external feeder there. But yeah, so it's not the strongest of my hubs, but it's a very important hub. Definitely a very important hub for me, and it definitely needed doing. So yeah, it's been a good move with Addis Ababa. Now, seeing as we're on Dynasty, I will show you Dynasty now. Dynasty is my long haul airline. I did sort of play around with some sort of liveries there. I'm not sure about that. And there was 1 week I did make a profit. It was only a profit of about £80,000, but I did make a profit. And then I ordered a load of planes, and then the profitability went through the floor. However, eventually I will make this airline profitable, but overall, I'm extremely happy with this airline. So it runs all my long haul routes, basically, and these are its bases at the moment. And as you can see, Hong Kong is a brand new hub, which isn't working. So if I go here, it's not doing great, and this probably won't last too much, apart from a couple of routes for Dynasty. It was just I just sort of tested it out, but there's too many airlines in Hong Kong. There's about 3 or 4 cargo airlines already hubbing out of there. I just think I'm too late to the party. But if I show you, for example, the 747s are absolutely beautiful. So this is my Nottingham East Midlands. So I've got a bit of a hub going at East Midlands. If I show you here, so as you can see here, GFX, that's my Express Airlines. These are running the A320s. So there's a few long haul flights out here. So there's my Addis Ababa A330 flight here, but I have a couple of 747 flights into East Midlands. In fact, this should have... I don't know. Hang on, where I think my 747 should be at East Midlands at the moment. Yeah, so it's on the ground at the moment. East Midlands B 4633. Yeah, but for example, if I show you this flight here, I reckon this is about 80,000 profit, 131,000 profit, and this is East Midlands to Louisville, which is obviously my world hub. A lot of these 747s are just printing money. Like if I go to this one here, this is a full flight. This is Louisville to Ontario, 747-8, by the way. So this is brand new, factory fresh, high leasing rates, high cost, 4 engines, by the way, so not that efficient. 74,000 profit. It's probably my favourite part of the whole group. So if we go here, so this is just a Memphis flight that I'm doing just to get cargo in, but that's 70,000. Let's go to Ezo to, for example, let's see what this one's doing. So this is currently flying to Ontario from Ezo in my Chinese hub, 58,000. It makes money when the flights work. My Hong Kong routes don't work. Let's try this. This is probably one of the better ones as well. Ezu to Leipzig, 42,000. And look at all this cargo being connected around. So yeah, let's go to the fleet then. It's up to 33. Ignore the 737. That 737's just been passed around to balance some books, basically. But I ordered 4 A330-200s that are on the market. We have 12 747-400s, 5 747-800s, and 9 777-200s now. And the route network looks something like that at the moment. Some of these from Hong Kong are going to be replaced into my other bases soon. But yeah, it's a very fun airline. And the way Dynasty sort of works is it is feeding my network, but it is almost its own standalone airline. It is a Atlas Air. It is a Cargo Lux. It's meant to be its own thing. That's kind of why I was trying other things. But again, it'll be feeding the Global Freightways network there. So let's go and talk about the new airline then, the new subsidiary. Now, I'm not sure why I did this, to be honest with you. But I kind of just wanted, I think the inspiration behind it was DHL in real life, because in real life in Europe, DHL have like a German division, and then they have like an English division. They have like DHL UK, and there's also like European Air Transport, I think is what the DHL European one is called. There's also like DHL Austria, something like that. So that's kind of like the inspiration behind it. But at the time of setting this up, there was no planes on the market. This was before me and my friend discussed the 737 order. And buying planes is expensive. And I wanted to expand quite quickly. So there was A320s and A300s on the market, but if I got them for Global Freightways, the maintenance costs will go too high, obviously with the penalties that this game puts on the maintenance costs for additional fleet types. So I just created this. So Global Freightways Express, it's just Global Freightways just with the, in all intents and purposes. It's based out of East Midlands, Liège, and Leipzig. And there's a sort of dual hub. East Midlands and Liège have a sort of dual hub. So if I show you this, for example, so this goes, to Leipzig and to East Midlands. That one does. Let's try this one. And this one is, again, Leipzig and East Midlands. But yeah, as you can see, so they kind of like, they all sort of intertwine how they run, and it's been a really good good airline. I mean, I shoved some A300s on here. These are dirt cheap, running flights with lots of cargo. Yeah, I will probably eventually just sort of fold this into the mainline eventually. I'll probably just replace the A320 with a 737, move it over, and the A300s will just be replaced with 767s at some point. But yeah, that's that. Obviously, some A321s as well. I've ordered these brand new, and these aren't doing very well. I seem to remember, but yeah, this one's doing all right. But yeah, anyway, so that's Global Freightways Express. And now let's talk about my South American failure. So what I did was I set up a base at Bogotá. I don't know how to pronounce it here. And the idea was this was going to, be my sort of hub going north and south. A few flights coming in over from Europe and everything. And that was the idea for that. However, I did it all. I spent a few hours on it, and it just didn't fill up at all. So literally tonight, I've cancelled all routes, which will take 3 days. And what I'm doing now is I'm going to rebuild my Bogotá base, but make it a lot smaller with the routes that I know work. And I'm also going to create a Miami hub, which Miami's probably going to be my new main South American hub. Obviously, I know it's in America, but it just has a lot more demand. So I'm going to create a Miami hub and a Bogotá hub as well. So that's kind of what I'm probably going to be doing over the next couple of days, really. And if my new attempt at the Colombian base doesn't work, I will probably just delete it and hope that my Miami hub can solve it, really, is the way forward. And the last sort of bit of head scratching is Red Tail Aviation. Now, Red Tail Aviation, if you remember, is my American feeder airline. So I have Dornier 228s, I have Cessna 408 Sky Couriers, I have ATRs, and they sort of feed my hubs around America. Now, I have realised that basing it in America was a bad idea. I should have done it in another tax haven and made it a worldwide airline. So I could have some of those planes over here and all over the place. So I think the long-term plan there is to create Red Tail Aviation 2, base it in a tax haven somewhere, and just slowly move all those planes over to the new Red Tail. Same routes and everything, but then I can base some in Ethiopia, I can base some in Europe, I can base some anywhere, have a huge fleet of Cessna 408s, have a huge fleet of ATRs, have a huge fleet, a bit like FedEx Express, but all under one brand. And these sort of small planes can sort of help these little destinations that might need a little bit of extra help. So I could run a flight to, I don't know, let's say I've got a flight over to Novosibirsk, or whatever how you ever pronounce it in Russia. Maybe I could have a couple of 408s coming in from around there to help fill that flight up. I can really home in on making the mainline airline get as much cargo as possible. And there's a lot of airports in Africa which still not going to, like for example here, Port Elizabeth, maybe a Port Elizabeth flight to connect into an Ethiopian hub. But that's long term for now. So that is all basically everything to do with the cargo airline there. Now, I have also started to go back to British Atlantic Airways, which was the original airline. It's the parent airline. I do actually have a competition. Someone called Explorer Europe who's doing really, really well. They've got a base at Stansted and Heathrow. I think they're here to stay for the long term. So yeah, I'm glad that I've got some competition. So I have ordered today. I've ordered these 4 A350s that are from the market. So I'll be expanding British Atlantic Airways again. So maybe some updates on them to come in the near future. But British Atlantic Airways is funding my cargo airlines. I'm not going to lie. I literally just strip money out of this airline into my cargo operations. I order planes via them. But the sheer, force of this airline is not to be reckoned with. I've got 97% load factor. It's such a good airline. Just been ticking away in the background whilst I've been messing around with my airlines, quite frankly. So, to summarise, I've expanded. I've built my Ethiopian base. I've expanded into East Midlands and Liège in Europe using my Express airline. Dynasty Air Cargo has expanded. And the near future, so this week, I am going to be creating my Miami and my Bogotá hubs to get my South American network going. And then that should be where we pick up on the next episode. Next episode, I'll actually sort of, because this is the issue that I sort of had since I sort of stopped uploading, is the last 2 episodes have just been these huge updates that you can't really get your teeth into. Like before, the episodes are sort of like, right, you can really focus on what I'm doing there and then. So if I can do my next video about the Miami hub, you can get involved in it. You can actually get involved with the story. So that's kind of what I'm wanting to do. So if I go to here, so I have started tonight my Miami hub using its Global Freightways hub. Only 2 planes for now, but the way this is going to work, and this all works with my main hub as well. So my flight from Louisville lands at about 3:15, so it all matches there. So basically, I come in for 3:15 from north. We go south, and then south back in here, and then north there, basically. So this flight is Newark to Miami, Miami to BQN, which is is it Puerto Rico? Was it here? No. Puerto Rico. Is that Puerto Rico? It's this airport here. This one here. Never. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know anything about this airport, but it has a 4 rating for cargo. What's that there? Is that an old DC-6 or something? Part there. What's on the deck here? So I think that's FedEx. Looks like FedEx ATRs there. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I digress. So out to the Caribbean island of Puerto Rico there, and then back to Newark, basically this one. And this one is Philadelphia. You're going out to Mexico City, back from Mexico City in the afternoon. Obviously, this is UTC time, so I don't know what this is in Miami time. I think it will be sort of everything sort of pushed this way. So I think this will be like 10 o'clock at night, and this will be like 5 o'clock in the morning. But that's the current way the wave's going to go: north, south, south, north, like that. Here's the planes that I've got to do it. I've got about 50 that I've taken from my Bogotá base and my Hong Kong base, which failed, basically. So yeah. Thank you for watching, everybody. Sorry for the lack of uploads. I'm hoping to get back to uploading a little bit more. If you have liked the video, do just click subscribe and press like. It makes me feel better. So thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.